It was a beautiful Sunday morning. My former partner and I had just had a wonderful breakfast date together, and we're looking forward to spending the rest of the day having a great time. The sun was out. It was a wonderful day. Everything was calm, your typical Sunday morning. We get out of the restaurant, and just before we cross the road, I hear somebody touching my hand. And I'm looking, and this guy is asking me for my passport. Like, where is your passport? And I'm like, who are you? He says, I'm a police officer. I'm like, okay, how do I know you're a police officer? Where's your ID? And just as he's reaching for his pocket, 3-4 other guys surround us, and my partner gets livid. She's freaking out. I'm also freaking out, but I'm trying to keep it together because I don't know what's going on. And the rest of the guys also ask me the same question, like, where is your passport? We've been looking for you. I'm like, what the hell? It's a Sunday morning. Who walks with their passport? I'm from a restaurant, not an airport. Hello. And you know, my partner is kind of asking them, what do you guys want? Like, we're just from a date, and we are heading home now. Like, who are you looking for? And one of the officers say, we've been looking for this guy. You have no idea who this guy is. It's taken us a while to trace him and stuff like that. He's a very dangerous guy. And I'm like, I'm not sure you're looking for... It's me? I think you're mistaking me for someone else. No, we are sure it's you with this beard. So I'm like, okay, so what's the name of this person you're looking for? And they don't want to give me a name. They tell me he's a Nigerian. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm a Kenyan, I'm not a Nigerian. And they're like, how do we ascertain that? I'm like, I speak Swahili, like, huku ni kwetu, mimi naishi huku, mimi ni Mkenya. And they don't want to believe it. So they ask me, what is your tribe? And I tell them I'm a Luo. It so happened that one of the officers there was a Luo, so he greeted me in Luo, and I responded in Luo. And for him to ensure I really was a Luo, he said something else in Luo, and I responded again in Luo. And then he started grinning. And then he came to, like, you know, like, pat my shoulder, like, okay, usijali pole, ni venye umefanana sana na mtu tunatafuta. You know, my partner was extremely angry at that time. I was just shaking inside, imagining that day, if those guys had a shoot on sight order, I probably would have been dead. Or if I didn't know my mother tongue, I don't know what would have happened to me. They probably would have taken me in their car, and I probably would have disappeared, just like that. I was terrified for the rest of that day. You know, it's a traumatic event because of the history we know with extrajudicial killings and police brutality. And I was lucky that, you know, you didn't hear about me on the news that police shoots a mistaken identity, and then their boss would just say something like, we are sorry. And my mother is there, same script. My mother is there mourning his child who had just left a restaurant on a Sunday morning with his girlfriend, looking like a Nigerian who was being looked for by police. And I told them, you know, you guys, I think you need to just be a little more professional, because the way you approached me, the way you talked to me, you weren't really sure who I was. Because if you're trying to trace me, like, your approach just wasn't it, pole kijana wetu, usijali, ni hali ya kazi, nini. So we go home. It's 2020, and in this period of COVID-19, with all these poorly planned lockdowns, heightened anxiety, rising cases of gender-based violence, rising cases of police brutality, police killings, and in reflection to what's happening in the US right now with, the nationwide protests following George Floyd's, I would say, brutal and just barbaric killing by a police officer that sparked all this outrage throughout the country. It's so hard to imagine the fear many underprivileged people live in because of a class they belong to, And right now, as Americans are protesting, we might want to start thinking of, what are we doing to stand for our rights? What are we doing to ask questions to the government? What roles of activism must we take at this moment in time? Because people are dying out there. People are dying because they are homeless. People are dying because they are poor. People are dying because they live far from their homes. And somebody else will be trigger happy to just say, yeah, you deserve that bullet. In the mystery of police trainings and how dehumanizing the service has been for the longest time, of course it's difficult to simply say, not all police. Because the Mwananchi looks at it as it's the whole service. The uniform is a symbol of oppression. And of course, there are police officers out there who work incredibly hard to protect citizens, to protect property, to ensure that there is enough security. But the larger issue we are having is a systemic and historical complexity that we have refused to indulge as a nation. And police is just one side. We have a lot of collective trauma from historical injustices, from post-election violence, from famine. That we keep sweeping under the carpet because politics in this country is bread and butter. It's like, this is what we've got to have every day. And I'm just asking myself, so when will we have enough of it to say we can't take this no more? Will our people keep dying? I've worked with police under the Office of Police Reforms. They're very well-meaning people. The work we've done with Greenstream Network under the Mamkumpia project. It's very well-meaning. It's definitely and understandably is beginning slow, because we're just amassing resources and trying to partner with the Giganja Police College. But in reflection, the damage that is out here is so humongous. It's a mammoth thing. And even as we work to heal the traumas of police officers, on the other side of the house, the other corner, somebody's out there with a gun. They're killing an innocent person. So it's just like, when is it gonna stop? Are we doomed? Are we doomed as a nation? What are those multidisciplinary measures we are gonna take, and not just keep waiting for the government, man, because it's getting out of hand. It's getting out of hand, and you've got to do something. Do something.